Hackman and Johnson define leadership as human communication that modifies the attitudes and behaviors of others in order to meet shared group goals and needs. When I think of leadership in this definition, the first person that pops into mind is George Mendoza. George is the operations manager for Cinelise, the grip and lighting rental house that I currently work for, and George and I have been coworkers for nearly 16 years, long before he ever had an official title as a leader, but when I knew he was going to be a leader anyways. George's first experience as a leader was back in high school. He worked for Taco Bell and was a shift manager. He said that things were a lot different then. He was more of a directive leader. He had more task-oriented ways of dealing with things, which kind of makes sense in that position at that particular facility. Taco Bell requires certain procedures to be done, things to be handled a certain way, and to be done in a timely manner to get your food out on time. And also, George was 17 years old, so dealing with people and having the social skills to do a more social-oriented style of leadership probably would not have gone over well. And he just did not have that type of experience. And it's something that's grown over the years to develop into the supportive leader that he's become now. He did say that the one thing that has carried over throughout the entire time of him being a leader through any job is that he's never been a yeller. In fact, when I asked George about his influences, he said that there were many over the years that were coworkers and bosses and supervisors and managers, and they were all good and bad in their own different ways. But the one thing that he really noticed was that the managers or supervisors that were yellers or were gruff and just rough were less effective, particularly for him, but not just for him. He noticed with coworkers the same thing, that he didn't get the motivation, and neither did they, out of somebody who yelled and just pointed out things they were doing wrong and were on top of them all day. So he kind of learned from that and learned that that was something he shouldn't be doing. Hackman and Johnson say you learn to lead by following and learn to follow by leading. And that is exactly what George did. He watched, he listened, and he learned. And according to him, he still does that every single day. George believes his success has been based on several different factors. The first is that he tries to do the right thing. George is an ethical leader. He's not going to ask you to do something that he wouldn't do or couldn't do or shouldn't do. He's the followers trust him. The people that work under him know that he's not going to lead you down a path that is the wrong path. We've had that type of manager in there before that asked us to do shady things and to hide things. So it's refreshing, and it's understandable that employees are very happy to be working under him and working for him doing the right thing. And that's something big to him because it was the first thing he pointed out to me. Second, he believes in motivating employees through positive acknowledgement. George is never going to yell at you. When you go into his office, he's going to tell you the things you did right, and he's going to show you the things you did wrong, but he's going to put a positive spin on it. He's going to make it so that you want to learn, and you're going to learn from him how to do things right. And if he's got to get out there and show you exactly how it's done, he will. He has no problem doing that. In fact, that was his third thing, was that he leads by example. He's not going to ask you to come in at 7 a.m. or 5 a.m. if he's not willing to do it himself. He'll be the first one in and the last one to leave on a regular basis. George works very hard and works all the time. I've seen him at the office sick as a dog, even though he shouldn't be getting us sick. And I've seen him there on weekends and after hours. He focuses on work. In fact, when I asked him about what I call his Zen-like leadership, because he's very calm. We work in an office that can be very fast-paced, and there's a fire all the time. Companies or our clients can be, there's a fire. I need everything right now. Everything is rush. And George stays calm. And I asked him about that, and he said he focuses on work. So when things get rough and hairy and need to get done, his focus is on work, where the rest of us kind of panic and go, oh my God, what should we do? What should we do? Let's go ask George. And George points us back in the right direction. And that's what he said. He said, focusing on work keeps you calm. You know, you got to get it done. So get in there and do it. That's the one thing about George. He will be open and honest with you, which I think makes a great leader. And he has this charismatic confidence along with that work ethic, which I think it makes him well liked and respected by all the employees. Followers can see that he has a vision, and they trust where he's leading them, and they believe in him. So when he makes purchases and does stuff for the company, if he comes out and talks to you, there's a reason why he's coming to talk to you. So people listen, and I think communication is a huge factor. And he'll tell us that whenever there's a question about anything, something that went wrong or something that's going right, he's like, oh, did you talk to them about that? Did you communicate your needs? Did you tell them what you wanted? George is very much a communicator. So I can see where my original Hackman and Johnson quote, when they talk about leadership being human communication that modifies the attitudes and behaviors of others, that's George. George is the person that's going to keep you calm. He's the person that's going to teach you. He's the person that's going to learn from you, listen, work with you, and do what you need to have done and support you in it and give you what you need. And he's going to fight for you. And that makes a good leader. Hopefully everybody else out there has had a chance to work with somebody like that has your back and is going to be open and honest, and you never have to worry about what's coming from him, because you know that what it is something to make you better, to make him better, to make the company better. He is focused and he believes in you, and he's going to show that to you, and he's going to communicate that to you openly and honestly. I think that makes a great leader, and that is why I chose George Mendoza to speak with.